Oh, excuse me. Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday. And, uh, yeah. Hope you're all having an okay Friday. And if not, weekend is just around the corner. So, ooh, I just noticed my, mouse blink. Oh, I know what's wrong with it. I'll fix that later. Okay. Yeah, I noticed my, um, what are they called? The vocal blend shapes for my mouth are a bit broken. When I do very specific, um, vocal sounds. It's oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, the lip goes the wrong way. I know what's wrong with that. I forgot to fix that. When I was adding the nice little um collision stuff to my model, because I think I grabbed the wrong one when I was trying to fix the blend shapes or to improve them even more. I grabbed the old one, tried to fix them, but I didn't fix the specific EO. Yeah, that one. That's A, E, U, E. See, A does it a bit, and O does it a lot. I just need to fix those blend shapes. That's all. Not too hard to fix. I'm not gonna do that today though, or right now. I'll do that after long stream, maybe long stream. Might be breaking the stream up into two. We're gonna start with the Great Ace Attorney. Gonna continue that. Then I might take a short break to get dinner ready and then be back to stream some Phasmophobia. Maybe. Depends on how I feel. I got my headache medication. I've taken the first dose. Um, so I don't know what side effects I want to get hit with within about 1 or 2 hours is when it should hit proper. So we'll see. For now, though, we are going to hop over here and library. Sorry. Great, Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Why did you? Okay, I was wondering. Loaded up in the middle of all of my monitors, or both my monitors, so split between the two, which was weird. All right, let's see if I can remember what voices I chose for everybody other than the main character, which is always just my normal voice. So, continue. Was it this one or the second entry? No. Hold on. Okay, no, this is the autosave, and then this is the main one. Okay. So it is that one. Gotcha. We need to re-examine everything and make sure there's nothing we've missed. There's no time to lose. I want answers. If it's proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe. But please, wait. Your Excellency, I have no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god. I knew nothing. And what does the defense have to say about all this? Hmm? Well, Your Excellency. No time to think. I'm just going to have to close my eyes and shout out the first name that comes into my head. Oh no, here we go. Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses is...
Yes!
There. What do you make of that? I think, counsel, that you may want to close your ears as well as your eyes. Otherwise, the size of disappointment in the courtroom may very well deafen you. Ah. If you feel you must close your eyes in a crisis, might I suggest you keep your mouth shut next time, too? Otherwise, I may have to use the influence I have in this courtroom to shut it permanently. Oh, the waiter, probably. The prosecutor, exactly. But he really makes me wince in pain sometimes. I don't have a great deal of influence myself, but believe me, I can find other ways to make you keep your mouth shut as well. Alright, don't get angry. I'll think again. There must be a clue somewhere in all that evidence in the court record. Actually, now that I think about it, there might be some piece of evidence I haven't thought thoroughly examined yet. Alright. Yeah, it's gonna be the waiter. So, go here, look at it. Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Well, that's unexpected. What is? Look, do you see it says the witness's name here? Satoru Hosonaga? Well, yes, business cards do tend to show the person's name. That's sort of the point. It's not the name that's unexpected, it's his job title. His job? Oh. Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Inspector? What on earth? I have no idea. But let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence. If they're wielding it somehow here... Waiter's business card information has been updated in the court record. And what does the defense have to say about all this? Well, Your Excellency, no time to think, just close my eyes and shout a name. Satoru Hosonaga.
Yes!
And the music stops. Well, surely that would be Satoru Hosonaga-san. Hosonaga-san, the waiter who took the stand earlier?
Objection!
Poppycock. What possible reason would the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence. For once, I would agree with you. If, that is, the man truly were a waiter. Huh? If he truly were... Come on, Ryunosuke. Time to hit this court with the truth. The truth about Satoru Hosonaga-san's real identity, as proven by this evidence. That's just our badge. The waiter's business card.
Yes!
The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question? I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure we can conclude anything. Sorry, Your Excellency, that's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest. I beg your pardon? Or perhaps I should have said the front? Oh, there we go. Hey, delineator. Okay, the front. Okay, game. Yes, it's the front of the back of the card. God damn it. That's where the telling detail is. Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hosonaga-san sketched the plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession, his true profession. The waiter's profession, but that surely... Good gracious. That's right, Your Excellency. That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads, Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Hey, hero. Believe in the heart of the cards. The waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power. Absolute power as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, witnesses there in the stand. Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen the foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Well... Oh. Well, hi. Inspector Hotonaga. I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well... Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It's my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake. So, you mean to say you really are a detective? But why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter? Ah, of course. Your salary must be... Wow. I was working undercover. Undercover? Yes. There have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter, working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? That would be classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. Hey, Dingo! Who among us hasn't had a terrible salary so Very well, then. Inspector Hotonaga, but you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard new information from the two witnesses beside you. That, at the time of the shooting, there was, in fact, another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would have also been aware of this person's presence, having served the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner. Therefore, I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? Correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable. As I suspected. As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, gun in hand, stood the accused student. Still, opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady, whom I guessed to be an Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the Bureau. It was then that I received some special orders. Special orders? You mean to say... remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once. It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders. But what if this Englishwoman was the killer? I think it would be in everyone's best interests not to pursue that idea. The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishman has been murdered on our soil. To name an Englishwoman as the primary suspect, well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. But it's not right. One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Kazuma? Yume University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain. And I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying in the medical faculty's research laboratory, is a young English woman. What? You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean, when I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. Then the court demands that you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. The Englishwoman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Gisela Brett. He is indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory of Yume University's medical faculty. Well, what is happening here? I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene, and ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. It must now be up to your excellency to decide how to deal with the situation. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise. Namely, that the victim was dining alone. However, as we have now discovered that this premise is false, it would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point.
Objection!
But, Your Excellency, that would mean missing the noon deadline of a ruling in order to send a telegraphic report to Great Britain. Our own government will surely be very displeased by such actions. Calm yourself, Counsel. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes, sir? You will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency. But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau. As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. So it won't be a problem? Ooh, man, that's a bad cough. Hey, Blackheart! Oh, dude! Nothing will get in my way. Courts will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student Giselle Brett to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear? Yes. Your Excellency. Good. Then we will have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. This we will save. Interesting turns to a case already. Overwrite that one. Whenever they cough in all times, it's tuberculosis. Okay, trial part 2. 22nd of November, 11:38 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendant's Antechamber. Antechamber 5. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. That was superb. My heart was in my mouth the entire time. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there, you were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you'd started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. Forget it, it's terrifying. If I get through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of a courtroom again. So when is Phoenix Wright going to be stealing twice that you know now? I don't know. At this point, Phoenix Wright can be Isekai. It can be an animist from Assassin's Creed into his ancestor here. Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your Phantom Lady at last. Miss Giselle Brett, a student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. Oh, thank you for the follow, Oblique Alloys. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are the one thing I'm sure of. Yes, I can see that. So, about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself. Then, on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor. And just after I bent down and picked it up, I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me, looking as white as a sheet. And he bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking by the detective, he apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area. Ah, there you are. Well done, both of you. Oh no, it's him. Okay. What did I do for his voice? Ah, Professor Mikatoba. Well, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seems you planned this from the start. You arranged things so I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy. Our justice system, even more so. Which is why I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. Well, it makes no difference. Lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who can't help his best friend avert their worst crisis of his life, I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. What? What are you saying, Kazuma? So that's your stance. I was afraid you'd feel that way. Kazuma. Well then, looks like it all comes down to you, young man. And they both look at me, it's just like, no, To me? Yes. You need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he? If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at UMaine, and it was I who invited him. Oh, I see. I didn't know that before. Can you ask something? What is the kanji? Oh, The kanji on my arm and on my USB plug is AI. It is the Japanese word for love. One of them. There's technically two words you can use for love. Love for the family, and a more. It's a little hard for me to explain. Love, sort of material possession, more material than a familial love. The one on my the arm and tail are more of the material love. It's a little hard to explain. It's not exactly like that, but it's the kanji for AII. I watched anime enough to know sounds, but not kanji. Yeah, I know. I totally understand that. But yeah, there's from my understanding, and part of the reason that I have this kanji is the AI for more of a more material love, more physical material type love. It's hard for me to explain. I try to word it. Love the computer mouse aesthetic. Did you make this model? I'm just gonna plug into my phone. I did not make the model, but it is very heavily edited by myself. The textures, the tail end, the glasses, the industrial earrings you can see there. The edits to the hoodie, which is now sleeveless, were all by me. A lot of the textures are redone by me. The model itself is by Julia Winterpaw. If you look down in the text under my stream, I have a links section that links to Julia's Patreon and her Gumroad, which is where you can get all of her models. She has a lot of really good models, and she's been updating them constantly. She recently added Neos VR support for a bunch of her models. Which, I just remembered, I really need to grab those ones, because I started to port this one into Neos VR. But I only got about partway before I got distracted. Anyways. Thank you for asking, and yeah, let's get back to this. Unless you have more questions. Oh, now I got a pie on my head. Saw your ear in here. There we go. Okay. Like the movement, amazingly rigged. The basic rigging is done by Julia. I've done all the spring bone work, so you can see my ears wiggle a little bit when I'm moving around. My hair, my tail, when I move, or if you'll see stuff move around when I get hit with something, which most likely, if you give it about 10 seconds, one of these other nerds is going to throw something at me, and it'll hopefully hit me, so you can see the dynamic spring bones move around. Oh, oh, there we go. See, I told you they'd throw something at me. Ah. Oh no! I had to say something, didn't I? I still need to futz with the settings slightly. Need to get the beach ball, yeah. I hope the creator of that plugin thing has it updates it so I can add my own models, because I don't really want to go through the reverse engineering path to throw in my own models. The fish hitting me, it's amazing. Alright, let's get back to this. Let me take a drink real quick. Boop, boop, ah! Thanks for the boop. Okay. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. But let's not forget who we're up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case. But I've no doubt that you pair will put up a good fight, right to the last. Best of luck. Thank you. Now then. I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need. Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-sama. Defendant Naruhodo, court recess is over. Please make your way back inside at once. It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Let's go in there and deal a decisive blow. Before those old fossils know what hits them. Kazuma? What? Thank you. Really? What for? Well, if you hadn't said you believed me, then I'm fairly sure I'd already have been found guilty by now. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer, and as a friend. Coming from you, that means a lot. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up on his dreams of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. But this isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. Alright then. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial. You can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from Yume Cafeteria on University Street. With an extra large portion, of course. I think if I change any of the models, I have to keep the slipper. And maybe the fish. Though I don't know if I could add models to it, I'd have to only replace models, so that doesn't leave many models to replace. The tennis ball I could probably replace, and the beach ball I want to keep. So, The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Prosecutor Ayuchi, have you managed to subpoena the witness? Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government. Sorry. Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. It's nothing to worry about. It's highly unlikely that the good relations we've forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Will you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down in our nation founders? Again, terribly sorry. If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. You really have nothing to worry about, Ryunosuke. What do you mean? A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, a bungled investigation, missing witnesses. Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this what the Supreme Court of Japan? Or of England? Shut up, you jumped-up rookie boy! You and your friend know nothing! Nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. By aligning ourselves with the great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures. I won't deny that I'm no expert. I'm just a student, and one who could arguably study harder too. But standing here now in our Supreme Court, there is one thing that I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all. Damn. Well said, Ryunosuke. despite the wide-eyed look of terror. You little brats! Thank you, Counsel. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system, and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. The visiting student from Great Britain, Miss Giselle Brett. Yes. Your Excellency? That's a hat. Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan, and from a distant land. Tea. Someone bring English tea. In England, no discussions take place without tea. Is that true? No idea. So, could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court? Yeah, blink, right? Of course. But not you. Oh my god, we already know who you are. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I have been working undercover as the head waiter at La Carnival. Yes, we know all about you already. Inspector Hosonaga, where are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first. Is that true? No idea. More importantly, a little earlier today you said something to me. You said your powers of observation are the one thing you're sure of. Oh, yes, I think I did, didn't I? Yet your description for this amazing sight was simply a woman. Sorry, Ryunosuke, but powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking. Guilty. So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please. I can't. Really? Oh my. Oh no, please no. I love it, but I almost assuredly bet she can speak the language. This is God, what I think it was 1980. Let me double check. 'Cause I was just looking at this. Steam, where are you? Steam vanished on me. That's weird. Oh, there it is. This is. It's early 19th century or late 19th century Japan. They said it earlier, like 1920s, I think. I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but what? The lady says her name is Giselle Brett. She comes from London, England. She's a visiting research student, currently enrolled in Humane University's medical faculty. Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones and the delightful language of the British people. I'm afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song. As far as I can tell. The detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yes, I agree. You'll obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. Her English doesn't rattle you at all, does it? Nor you. You've clearly been paying attention in your English classes, Ryunosuke. Man strapped with a katana in court. Yeah, right. Well, we've already had one witness be playing with a knife on the stand, and this is only the first case of the entire game, so The laws are a little the laws are a little different here. The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago, at a restaurant called La Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? He says yes. This could take some time. So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese? Thank goodness they don't try to retranslate lines like that. She doesn't speak English, and being somewhere in America, I really would have been annoyed if they tried to do that with the localization. So they represent her speech as a fancy logical brain. He'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. He says that she was due to make a presentation at the university, but she had to leave immediately. Interesting, when you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following special orders from the Bureau. I keep changing his voice, the voice I've given him for some reason. I can't decide on it. The Twitter account poked fun at themselves, yeah. Took a picture of Bento and called it traditional. Yeah, that's been a running joke in the freaking Ace Attorney series as well, because of localization issues. Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print? Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps? Apparently, it was a very frightening and sorrowful sight. Do you mean to say... Yes. It would appear the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. Order in the court. Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have an absolutely conclusive witness statement. Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. Oh, I accidentally hit that. I was trying to click here. Unfortunately, I will have to ask you to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described. Oh, here we go. Witness testimony. A frightening and sorrowful sight. I had arranged to meet him for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beef steak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument. Then not long afterward, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. Ah. This is a condemning... No, I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all. Objection! Quiet, you filthy wretch. Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard. And look at this Snow Wifey. I'm sure even a dark-minded scoundrel like you can imagine whose words the court is going to believe. You're still making the same mistakes, Ryunosuke. You mustn't blurt out when you're goaded like that. That's a lesson you need to learn. But he's so annoying. Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this lady and the 2 witnesses who testified before, and reported back to the Bureau. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. The testimonies of the last 2 witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, even so, on the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. As you can see, there's nowhere about her person where she can conceal a firearm. The fucking Swan on her head can hide frickin' 3 handguns and like a fucking hand cannon in there. Don't know what you're talking about. The Swan is a goddamn gun. I'm pretty sure you could hide an entire like an AK-47 in this tailpiece here. Look at that. She's got a buckle that could hide an AA gun. Yeah, exactly, see? Swan flips out and I would think she could hide a gun almost anywhere in that outfit. Yeah, see? Thank you. Unless and until the precise location where the witness is to have hidden a weapon can be shown, this is moot. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Those are the witness's own words on the matter. Ah, that's ridiculous. If only I was allowed to lift up her dress, I could prove it. Wait a sec. No? Don't think about doing anything rash, Ryunosuke. I didn't fire the gun I picked up. There must have been another gun there that day. You're right about that. Which means this lady was hiding a gun somewhere. Yes, that's what we have to prove now. And to do so, we'll need to pull her testimony apart. Oh, that smirk. She's Bayonetta, yeah. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. Frightening and sorrowful sight. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. Let's see. Okay, we don't need to read through these again. We already did. Unable to eat, so order to be safe, right? In order to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument. We're gonna press.
Yes!
I never got into an argument with the professor. All I did was, when I noticed him, was go over to say hello. Please, don't get angry with me. No, I wasn't directing that retort at you. It was meant for the lady next to you. But anyway, as I said, I did not argue with the professor. I'm afraid your words are in vain. Sorry? Miss Brett does not appear to speak Japanese. No, of course not. Japanese is such a cumbersome language anyway. English is the future. You must all speak English. Oh my god, please. Oh, goddamn. I wonder if the prosecution will feel that way forever, or only in the presence of a beautiful woman, Well, that beautiful woman is telling blatant lies with a completely straight face. I have to find something that will unravel her testimony, no matter how seemingly insignificant it may be. Anyway, it seems that after the argument, the accused briefly returned to his own seat. That part ties in with what you said, doesn't it? Yes, I still had some coffee to drink. And the next time you got up after that was when I'd finished my coffee and stood up to leave. Then, not long afterward, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. So she's maintaining that you got into an argument with the professor, at the end of which you shot him. Which is an out-and-out totally unfounded lie. Just start insulting her mother in Japanese. Yeah, basically it's gonna come down to, after all, she's Elegant, refined, young, and beautiful gentlewoman from Great Britain. In stark contrast to you, dressed from head to toe in a dull black school uniform. I'm dressed exactly the same way you are, except for the flapping red ribbons. Well, anyway, this is our only chance to expose your testimony as the fiction that it is. We can't do that. The trial's over. Even you, with your thick skin, must be able to feel the murderous look you're getting from around the room. Only too well. I feel half dead already. And the fact that I can't see a single inconsistency in her testimony isn't making me feel any better either. The first thing to do is press her on any of her statements that seem even slightly off to you. Do that, and an opening will present itself. I promise you. Oh, it's the case of press almost everything until you find something. I need to expose the true face of this exotic foreigner that's hiding behind the mask. That's what I should be aiming for in this cross-examination. Let's see... Yeah, we'll press on this one.
Yes!
After 2 p.m., in fact. That's really quite a late lunch, isn't it?
Objection!
You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Britain, do you? Late luncheons are en vogue. Isn't that right? No. Oh, that's what you get. Ah. Decisive English no has quite a sting to it. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems, so it was apparently a daily occurrence that they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment at the clinic first. Yes, which we can prove from the medical report card that was submitted as evidence earlier. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why it was so late. Yes, that all makes perfect sense. Such a wonderful logic. What a shining example of English intelligence that fine gentlewoman is. So you both arrived at the restaurant. What happened next? I was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beef steak.
Yes!
He's simping so hard. He totally is. He was unable to eat, you say? And that was because he just had a tooth removed at the hotel clinic, correct? That's right. You're supposed to actually check with the witness before answering. Was Miss Brett aware of that fact? It seems so, yes. She had heard that the professor was to have some dental treatment. So that would mean that it was you who ate the steak pictured here. Is that right, Miss Brett? That's right, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left after the horrifying events. Exactly as it was left. Pardon? Dear me, what a harrowing experience. To have traveled to a distant island on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic incident. Have no fear, my dear lady. I will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight. So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all? That's right. Other than some carbonated water. Just water? Yes. The professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. So it appears that the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. Glass of... There's only one glass there, though. They each raised a glass of carbonated water. What do you think, Ryunosuke, about the witness's last statement? That's very meaningful. The slap! That last statement of yours, Miss Brett, has a profound bearing on this case. Well, well, how fascinating. Do tell us. What is this profound bearing? The slams would be slaps again. Yeah. The significance of the statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness's last statement to be formally added to the testimony. Well, sidestepped counsel. Very well. Miss Brett, kindly repeat what you had just said to be added to your official testimony. Gladly, she said. That was brilliant, Kazuma. I'm going to remember that one. Which one? The significance will become apparent when the time is right. I could really use that phrase. I'd hope there are some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that, Ryunosuke. Myself and the professor and I said cheers over a glass of carbonated water. So, let's look at the... There's only one glass. Where's the other glass? One glass? Unless one of them was drinking the table arrangements. We can't tell if there's another glass here. Chug the bottle. Let's present this. We're probably going to lose a thing because we're at the wrong point, but...
Yes!
Oh, no, music stopped. There we go. Slow look over. What was that? That was just the slow look dawning of like, oh my god. That's it. Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as it was left. That is correct, the lady says. They're back to slaps. Well, that is... It's very odd. It's odd. It's very odd. Hear me. What's odd is the defense's inability to express itself. Ryunosuke, what is it about the print that looks odd to you? Well, obviously, it's the cheers. The cheers? Miss Brett just told us she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on the table, not 1. Ah. You're quite right, counsel. There's only 1 glass pictured here.
Objection!
Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over Minute? What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on this case?
Objection!
Minute. Yeah, over a glass of water, only 1 glass. Could it be that the detective here removed a glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do something so reckless. God dang it! Conviction to the slaps. Come on, Ryunosuke. You can do it. Minutia. That's right. My brain forgot the words. Minutia. Yeah. The plaps. But there should have been 2 glasses on the table. Or are you going to try to tell me that you can clink with only 1? Well, yeah, the bottle's right there. You're quite right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. Slap the vent. Inspector, what did the lady say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table. What? It was also terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact that I'd been there at all, she's saying. Good gracious. Sorry. I'm pretty sure those curlers are depth charges too when we're speaking of weapons. Just drop him off the side of the boat and take down a submarine. There, as I assured the court before, this is of no consequence at all. Oh, please. We must remember that this student had just murdered this lady's luncheon companion before her very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or two in her state of disarray? That's absurd. Oh, really? So do we take it that you are now going to accuse this vulnerable, young, and beautiful woman of mischief? What? No. This can't be put down to mischief. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. I put it in my pocket. Duh. It would seem that she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying. Handbag. That, I don't know, could be holding a handgun? A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency, a small handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England. The Swan is a handbag. So the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact remains that this glass has absolutely no bearing on the case. This student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning, but in the end, it comes to nothing. No more pretentious accusations. You have wasted enough time already. Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed this glass. I think henceforth we can consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? Well, I don't know really. If you want to pursue this matter further... keep accidentally hitting that button. You're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance. Yes, you're right. So she took the glass away in her handbag. If there's a deeper significance there, it's... the handbag. Wait, the lady put the glass in her handbag, you say? Yes, do try to keep up. It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items. Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag. Damn it, still tiny slaps. In which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. You're right. Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too. He's trying. Yeah, he's trying at least. What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard? It's really very simple. A gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will. You can't be seriously be suggesting. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Did you or did you not search Miss Giselle Brett's handbag the day of the murder? No, sir. I did not. As I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden on Miss Brett's handbag. No! Order! 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 What is the meaning of this, Inspector? The meaning of what, Professor Auchi? Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations. Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. You think so, Kazuma? Ooh. Man, that cough is getting worse. Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly you have no faith in the police. As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting. Simply because... It was unnecessary. Unnecessary in what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. This photographic print. What? This print is a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. As you can see... a Chicago Bulls fan, I see. It clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. Well, I never. You can see right through to what's inside. That's right. Apparently, meshwork bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment. So the contents are clearly visible. Exactly. So there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. Ah. As you can see, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt. I mean, other than the fucking hat and Swan's tail there that can hide 35 different guns in them, but sure, nothing. Thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san. Yeah. Order! Inspector Hosonaga, you will submit that print as evidence at once. Certainly, Your Excellency. Photograph of the handbag has been entered into the court record. I think you've had long enough to cross-examine the witness, counsel. Let me look at the court record. I need to look at this new photo. What's that? So I can't do a closer look. Alright. The court has now been shown considerable evidence. As the photographic print just submitted into the court record appears to have no further significance, I am satisfied that there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter. I must make my ruling. Indeed, and there is only one logical conclusion. That the pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime. No. Just when I thought I was beginning to turn the things around. I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start. Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue. What? You mean this is it? I must say, you put up quite a fight for a rookie student. But the weak are meat when the strong eat. You are wasting your time. There is no way to defeat true justice. In fact, a fact that you can chew onto your heart's content from the inside of your cell. This can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime that I didn't commit? Kazuma. His dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Kazuma? What? Is there really no chance now of turning this trial around? You heard the judge. There's nothing about that last photograph the detective produced that we can contest. Which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue. Very well. I will now proceed immediately to the ruling. It seems we will be able to report to the British government on time after all. That smug little... Ryunosuke Naruhodo, having considered all of the evidence placed before me, I... He ain't gonna get... Oh, there we go, slams! Wait, Your Excellency. Ryunosuke. I don't think you can rule on this case just yet.
Objection!
This amateurishness is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems that the trial is over, he gives his ruling. That is the most basic protocol of the courtroom.
Yes!
Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. As the photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Now, that means if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail I mean, then ruling on this case at this time would be out of the question.
Objection!
This is blatant straw clutching. Look at this photographic print. All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question. There could be no problem with this evidence. Better know what you're doing, Ryunosuke. I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly, the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court's scrutiny. However, I've failed to see how we can glean any new information about this handbag. My thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes. Yes, I am desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. There's something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. Only I could put my finger on it. Very well. I will grant the defense one final opportunity. What? But be warned that if I am unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect. One shot, one opportunity. Hello. As always, we save in these cases. Bomb spaghetti. Yes, Your Excellency. So, take another look at the photograph that Inspector Hosonaga submitted before. You will identify for the court where in this print we see the significant detail which you have alluded. So, I want to look at, not here. Oh, no, okay.
Yes!
The music didn't stop. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description.
Objection!
Dear me, I was pondering what new pitfall you would come out with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist? Clearly that has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag. Yes, that is a burn mark, you're right. Go on, Inspector. If the police coroner also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it in his report. What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either. The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. However, as Prosecutor Ayuchi points out, unless a firm connection to the case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise details of this burn. Come on, let me skip through this faster. You have one shot. 5 shots, yeah, pretty much. Please let me skip through this faster. This is silly. Okay, so it's not that. Oh, hey. Right there. Not where I was expecting it, but I should have been. Okay. Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the dean and other university staff. Still remember Tai Tuesday playing this. I remember that bit of evidence. Oh yeah! That confirms my suspicions from earlier. She would like to know if you may be excused from the stand now. Oh, of course, my dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer. I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway. What's your thinking on this, Ryunosuke? Do you believe this burn does have something to do with the case? To be honest, I'm not really sure, but if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. But I was thinking I should keep digging and digging, in the hope that I might uncover something useful. Yes, you're right. I am. If we could just link that burn to the case, we can do that. We might be able to prise this shutting door back open again. Just give up, Counsel. You can't possibly hope to do that. Indeed. I'm afraid that without evidence, I can't allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture. But if we had evidence... Evidence that irrefutably linked the burn to the victim's risk to the case, then you would allow it? I keep accidentally hitting history. I would, yes. To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. But as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the color draining from Miss Brett's face. Really? I have to find some link between that burn and the case. This is the moment of truth. It's time to find some evidence that proves what that burn really means. So then, the defense will now present its evidence to the court. The evidence that demonstrates an inextricable connection between the victim's burn and this trial. Controls, please. No, that one blocks it. That's why the positioning is so that it blocks, so you can only choose this one.
Yes!
And the music stops. There we go. What's this, Counsel? Yet another print? Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. But in a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore. Do hurry up, Rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further would be quite inexcusable. Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer if you don't mind, Miss Brett. You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How?
Objection!
You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. If that's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean. What is it in this photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn? What is it in the photograph? Is...
Yes!
The beefsteak? Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The plate? Your Excellency? Are you alright? As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of La Carnival. Ah. This emblem on the plate and the victim's burn are exactly the same shape. Ah! Ryunosuke, you genius! You're spot on! Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant.
Objection!
But even if that's the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before, or the day before that. It most likely happened at some other unrelated time. Well,
Objection!
Sadly, Prosecutor Aochi, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks. Why? The outline of those burns is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly. But... I would say, looking at the picture of this wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable that the victim would have let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of La Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation. But you're a detective, not a waiter! Exactly!
Yes!
Why he can say these things. There you have it. Something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that. And yet, Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream, not on that day, or any day before. That's right, and the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day, that would be beyond careless, I think, counsel. Then the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer, all of us without any question, have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Aochi? Well, yes, I suppose. So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? I almost don't believe it. Ryunosuke, do you think... Can it really be true? I never dreamt we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but... I'm starting to think that maybe... we've been led into a terrible trap. Oh, yep. The Anastasia. So one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson... No, because by the time it happened, the plate... I don't think the plate would have been hot, still that hot. Yes, the professor being as absent-minded as... no, come on. And where his hand falling on the piping hot plate, didn't even notice the burn happen. Didn't even know the person you are labeling as a bumbling scatterbrain. How about I hold your wrist on a hot plate and we see how your bumbling scatterbrain cooks? Perhaps the scream you let out will wake you up a bit. Come on. Well, it's nice that there's this frankness developing between us, partner. Don't call me partner after coming out with nonsense like that. This is a critical moment. It may very well be our only chance to turn things in our favor. So come on, Ryunosuke. You can do it. Or rather, you have to do it. You're the only one who can. Are you just... No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. That's clearly impossible. Apart from in one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting? Yes, it's only possible if the man was already dead. Already? Dead? Yeah, I was kind of figuring this at first, but the anesthesia makes more sense to me. Except the anesthesia would only be in his mouth, though I don't know about the anesthesia for that turn of the turn of the century. How much it affected that. That's actually a good question. Laughing gas, though. Oh, from my experience with laughing gas, I don't remember it affecting so much. Even at least to that point. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, they probably didn't have locals back then. Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead. That's madness. Ah, the glass is poisoned. Order, please. Counsel, explain this absurd notion at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot. That's right. That's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student, but clearly he has no grasp on the facts.
Objection!
No, Prosecutor Ayuchi. It is you who has no grasp of the facts. I beg your pardon? As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered the burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, this court must hear from this witness again. If it's true, as we now believe, the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard. It's highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement. But Your Excellency... The justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I'm prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency. Oh, are we going to speak Japanese now? Uh-oh. Was that a smile? Yes, of course. I'd be delighted to help. Especially if it helps relations between my country and yours. Oh, here we go. Miss Brett, you speak Japanese? Tokunaga got played. Well, of course I do. I am studying in your country, after all. Look at his expression. Fucking Christ. Just got sideswiped right there. But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now? My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible. But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. So I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you and you all on your level. Oh, well, you are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. We are truly honored by this lavish consideration you so graciously afford us. Oh no, cool, she's racist, right? I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. So we're finally going to hear her own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryunosuke. Here we go. Witness testimony. The victim's death. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I have heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way the man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please, do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. Wow. Okay, so she's so canceled when she gets to the 21st century. I'm wondering if they're saving the really good music for later cases. Because this is 2 different games in one, and each game has 5 cases. So I'm wondering if the second game or later cases in the first game has more epic music. So more music as the cases roll on. That most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in the Supreme Court's history. Thank you. Phoenix Wright was in a different era. This music's voices is more appropriate to. True. The hazy does it. I hope that that is the last time I will have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone. Not at all, not at all. It is a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady. And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant. The next Phoenix Wright game will be a moment's crossover, goddammit. I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today. The Minister of Justice. May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen. Thanks? Was that a prayer, then? Well, you'll have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett. Put up with a cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, Counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness's testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear? Yes, Your Excellency. Then you may proceed with the cross-examination. Alright. So... no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. Brought my steak to Professor and I raised our glasses on the toast. Sure, nothing. Okay. Huh. It's like can be taken without leaving a trace. Please do show me. What do you think, Ryunosuke? I don't know. I think this could be hard work. I speak Japanese brilliantly. He doesn't seem to want to say very much. The more she says, the more she's likely to give away. This English woman knows that only too well. She's quite formidable. Miss Wilson-Byrne tells us something, I'm sure. He uses cross-examination to find out what. I'm just going to press her on everything she said and try to make her blurt something out. Oh, what is it, Kazuma? What are you thinking? Oh, don't worry. It's nothing. Uh-oh. I have no idea what the point of purpose is. I'm gonna try pressing on this one.
Yes!
As you testified before, you were drinking carbonated water, is that right? Dr. Wilson was only permitted to drink water at that time, if you remember, which explains why he ordered that drink. Correct, waiter? Exactly as you say, sir. Although... Whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table, I'm afraid I don't remember that. Ooh. I have enough English to understand that, at least. For the benefit of the others in the court, it means bless you. God. Fucking Christ, apology. I think it means the exact opposite. Anyway. As far as I've heard...
Yes!
Yes, it's written here in the paperwork. Fatal hemorrhage from ballistic trauma. Luckily for all of us, a little burn on the wrist isn't going to kill us. And as there were no other signs of trauma on the victim's body to indicate some other cause of death, it can only have been the bullet from your gun that put an end to this innocent man's life. But it doesn't make sense. The burn must have happened straight away, when the plate was first brought to the table by the waiter. Yes, that's true. If it had been cooled even slightly, it wouldn't have been able to make a burn like that. And if the victim burnt his wrist on the hot plate as soon as it was brought out from the kitchen, then he must have already been dead at that point.
Objection!
And yet, the fact is that the victim was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Until you're able to show the court evidence to disprove that, this is a complete waste of time. I concur. Prosecutor Aochi is right. That can be taken without leaving a trace.
Yes!
Without leaving a trace? If someone is shot, or strangled, or stabbed, or thrown from a height, however a person's life is taken, there are always telltale traces on the body. Quite right, dear lady. And as our police force has thoroughly examined the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt. Isn't that right, Inspector Hosonaga? As I've said, I've always aimed for a flawless investigation. There would be physical traces with all those causes of death, that's true. But maybe there's some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark. If, heaven forbid, you doubt me, young man, you're going to have to tell everyone how exactly you think the professor did lose his life. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls rather flat, doesn't it? Oh no, perish the thought. Calling such a sweet young lady's innocence into question. On my honor, I, Takatsuchi Aochi, will cut down any who dare cast such aspersions. Way of killing someone that leaves no trace. I need some evidence to back this up here. Yes, evidence. Of course, this country's... we don't really have evidence, do we? Wait. Wait. No. Huh. Problem I've been having here is he's been seated here. He's had the stake in front of him. Why does he have the stake in front of him? That's been bugging me since we learned of the dentist stuff. Press this real quick, and then... Inferior? What do you mean by that? In the lands of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at a crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once and that's the end of it. Isn't that so? Quite right. La Carnival is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident. Exactly. Which means that even if the investigation takes a what direction, vital evidence may be lost. Pardon? You okay over there? It doesn't even occur to your naive detectives to try to preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactical about this as I can, you understand. Ah! A killer blow! The lady is as formidable as she is beautiful. Amazing. He's actually admitting our place may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Yuichi is finally starting to see sense. I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't seem quite right. Professor, I'm not turning up any new information. Yes, as I suspected, she's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over. But what that would mean, I have to find a way. There must be some clue somewhere to help us find a chink in her armor. Kazuma? What, Ryunosuke? There is one thing I noticed, something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. About the person standing next to her. Inspector Hasanaga. The detective? Yes, he seems to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant, if it might present an opening maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time. If you think so, but this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, let's see what we can get out of the detective. Alright then. Wonder what Kazuma's thinking. Find out soon enough, I suppose. Once I press Miss Brett on our last statement again. Okay, so it was... this one. So press.
Yes!
You're gonna see onto that stand. Is that so?
Wait.
How do I... Yes, there it is again. The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why? Up until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. But things are different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find they often let their guard down. You're right, look at him. He's lost in his own thoughts. It's time to pursue the man in his train of thought. Sorry, pursue? I'll explain how to do it now, Ryunosuke. It's all to do with the witness marker. What marker? At the moment, we're focused on Miss Brett, who is the person actually making the current statement. But by moving the marker left and right with A and D, you can turn your attention to other people in the stand. Oh, okay. While you're looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with space. If you can catch the person at just the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue. If you ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people in the stand, take a good look around. Alright then, so first I should move the marker across with A and D and focus on the detective, and pursue him with space and see what's on his mind. Here we go.
Wait. Excuse me.
It wouldn't let me move over for a moment. What the? What's the meaning of this? I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his thoughts, deeply. It looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say? If there's something you'd like to say, please share it with the court.
Objection!
What is the meaning of this? If the delightful Englishwoman who's testifying at the moment, if you can't find fault with her testimony, then the cross-examination should be over immediately. Oh, is that how it works? Absolutely not. The detective is on the stand, which makes him a valid witness. Oh, slap. Yeah, not to mention the fact that he's intimately involved in the case. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett? Well, yes. If you don't mind, I would like to speak. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain. Which is why I, Satoru Hosonaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless. What do you really mean by that? I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. Crime scene thief? Well, it looks like the lady's remarks touched a nerve there. I knew it. Well, yes, he took the carbonated bottle of water, and it's poisoned, and he actually drank some of it. That's why he's coughing a lot and bleeding from the mouth. Please tell me that's it, because that would be dumb and amazing. Take this for example. Oh my god, I think it is, really. It is that? This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took to the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, there's some left in the bottle. I can see it. One day our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming, I guarantee it. I can't say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept the glass bottle of water as evidence. Carbonated water was entered into the court record. Miss Brett. Can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death? Yes, it was that bottle. What was that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question. Very well. Counsel, you may resume the cross-examination. And the inspector will kindly control his fervor. Which is just like that. I'm actually going to look at the bottle. I can't believe that Hosonaga in the courtroom with the tuberculosis. Look at it. Label is written in a foreign language that don't recognize. Do you know what it says, Kazuma? I think it's French. It must be very expensive water. Yes, but what does it say? That's what I was asking. Then go to France and ask. You could just say that you don't know. So this carbonated water is the last drink Dr. Wilson ever had. It looks like there's a little left in the bottle, although it's just plain water now. You know, I've been sweating so much, I'm absolutely parched. I'll just have a sip of this to keep me going. No, Ryunosuke, you can't do that. For one thing, that's evidence. You can't go drinking evidence. Oh no, you're right. We don't know what might be inside, do we? Never cease to amaze me, Ryunosuke. More ways than one. Trailer. Again, why is there no follow notice when I follow? Oh, that's weird. Yeah, I don't have a follow notice on my thing from you. If you followed. I don't have. Yeah, I don't see one on my dashboard. That's weird. Maybe try logging in through like a browser, and then hitting follow on that. It might not be able to load the stream, but it might be able. Your app might have some issue with it. Wouldn't be the first time I've had somebody have that issue on a stream. But anyways, thank you for the at least the attempt at a follow. It might also just be very delayed. It's very. Twitch being Twitch, yeah. I wonder, could there be anything in this water? What's the matter? You've gone quiet all of a sudden. Do you mind if I share some stuff about my original species? I'm not sure. I don't know how I feel about that. I have to think on that. Might not be the best place for it. It's open, so it's not like people have to pay money to use it. Oh no, I understand that. Just not sure if it's like the right place for it. Like, it might sound interesting, just I don't know if a Twitch chat during a game is exactly the right time for that. I'm not sure. Anyways, where were we? You've gone quiet all of a sudden. I think I might have just worked something out. An interesting possibility. Yeah, I kind of figured the poison might be something. Let's see, that raised the glass toast. As far as I've heard, the postmortem. But some of the wingman's life can be taken without leaving a trace. Please do show me. And that's the opening we needed.
Yes!
And the music has stopped. There we go. What is this? A bottle of water? Actually, there is one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I'm referring to poison. Poison? On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? His reaction. Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass? Order. Order. Order! And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink? There's only one person who possibly could have done it. Giselle Brett. It was you. Ooh. Full on facing us now.
Objection!
This is outrageous to suggest such a thing without a scrap of evidence. You little rookie imbecile. Have you even considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now? Have you forgotten that we have only just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? Have you even the vaguest inkling that your rash accusations could jeopardize the entire treaty?
Objection!
This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one individual's guilt with respect to one crime. What? The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth. Ahem. If I may, I will silence you forever for this disgraceful... Oh, damn! Whoa! Wow. It is you who should be silent. Of course. Dear lady. Damn. Where did that come from? She just snapped. Okay. I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies. I'm sorry, my lady. To what are you referring? I described your police force as inferior. And no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, Inspector. And whether it contained poison or not. Of course. You did? Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time. So is she the one who's going to judge us and then kill us if we summon demons? Hi, Z. This isn't Lady Love Dies. Lady Love Dies actually had style. She's just got a swan on her head. Oh no, then technically it wasn't. It was the judge that judged everything. Never mind. Swans are not stylish. In certain respects, they are. Bomb Clay from One Piece is stylish. I don't know about this headdress for being stylish though. SSS rank sexy swan style. You don't believe it. Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents. And what did you find, Inspector? I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in this country at present time. We could find no trace of poison of any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency. Now, what about the cup? What? Are you sure? The tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself. No. No! I'm very grateful to all you Japanese. You've successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you. But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours. I was so sure. This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. Thank you, counsel. I think that cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution have asserted, a shot to the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused... Oh god, I got a box on my head now. The accused, who by his own admission was holding this weapon, is the only possible culprit. I'm done for. The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience that this has caused you, Miss Brett. Oh no, I'm just glad the matter is resolved. Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present to the court? Present the court at this point? Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. Nothing more. Well, if you'll excuse me now, I really must be leaving. Come on. You know what it is. Oh. Oh. Hello. Please wait. Isn't that... What is the meaning of this? Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susito Mokotoba, Judicial Assistant to Defense. Mikotoba? In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand, she carried a small package, wrapped in a furoshiki cloth. It's gonna be the glass, or the handbag with the glass. Oh my god, to be continued, really? Save return in progress? Yes. Save here. It's gonna be a necklace of lava. Full of deadly neurotoxin. Right, we're gonna continue for a bit. Over 14 p.m. Court of Judicature, courtroom 2. Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why this sudden ingress into my courtroom? Ha! A judicial assistant, and a woman no less. The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify. Yes. Yes, I fully understand. I ask only for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense. Ha! You're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded. 5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more. But, Your Excellency, I am most grateful. Oh, that sounded... I said that really weird. Jesus. I'm still trying to get her voice down, because I'm pretty sure she's going to show up again. Who exactly are you? I'm sorry. There's no time. Please, simply accept this for now. What is it? A report about something written in English? It's Giselle Brett's research. The English woman's? After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper. Oh yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So, does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings about the trial myself. Oh, no, of course not. Special characteristics of Curer and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. Curer? What's that? Never heard the word before. Curari? Curer? I'm actually not sure what that word is, to pronounce that word. Time's up. The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom. There was too little time for me to read it in detail, but I have summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it. This is wonderful, thank you. Gisele's report has been entered into the court records. Goodbye, and good luck. Yeah, I've seen the word before, just I don't know how to pronounce it. You've had long enough, counsel. We cannot detain our English guest any longer. It's a C-U-R-A-R-E. I probably get to see it if I look in here. Poison made from the bark of trees in the jungles of South America. Hundreds of the region use it since ancient times to compensate trade. Instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. Above mentioned effects occurs when poison enters the body through a wound, such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Its ability to render the human body paralytic. It's believed that the toxin could have application as an anesthetic. Solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of the full body paralysis must be found first. Patients will die of suffocation? Here's when it enters through a wound. Okay, that's just getting things weird. I ask the prosecution and the defense now one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but... The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency. Ryunosuke, we're out of options here. This really is our very last chance. Yes, I know. Oh, there we go, slam. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett? Yes, Your Excellency? If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer. It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not so very long until tea time. Nope. Forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems I wasn't clear. I realized it was phrased as a question. However, I must ask you to treat this as an order. I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense. Wow. My apologies, dear lady. So, counsel, what is the new evidence that demands the court's attention?
Yes!
Miss Giselle Brett, we understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at UMA University, doing research. Research, by sheer coincidence perhaps, into a deadly poison. What? Poison? Where are you going with this, counsel? A toxin known as curare. Just even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death.
Objection!
What complete and utter nonsense. Curare, you say? I've never even heard of it. You wouldn't have done. What do you mean? I mean that you wouldn't have heard of curare before for one simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist? Correct. Which means, no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they'd never identify curare. Curare. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison. What? Oh, I got the link now. I got the link now. So, pause here for a moment. Bowman enters the body through wounds such as inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Record of dental work. He had a tooth pulled. That is very, very clever. That's clever. Order! 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 Counsel, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, curare has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists. To lace their arrows? The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle. It was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with curare suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett? Ooh, the full-on stare again.
Objection!
Trumpery. These aspersions are utter trumpery. To start with, if the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and other diners would have surely noticed. That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? I love that Ryu is shuffling through it rapidly, trying to keep up with Kazuma. Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around. What do you mean, the other way around? The very fact that this victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that curare was used. Explain yourself, counsel. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible! Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe, it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. That's hideous. To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, the final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly curare poison. Ooh, now the court is fucking silent. And you're suggesting that this bottle, counsel, actually contains the terrifying poison?
Objection!
This is all very convenient, isn't it? A hitherto unknown poison for which there is no means of testing? What a happy tale for the defense. Ahem, if I may. All these facts. You think you're so clever, but you must be taught. It is you who must be taught. Of course. Dear lady. So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another's honest hard work and then announce the results as if you discovered them. I am appalled. What a loathsome act. Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime. That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Objection!
Enough of this. I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules. What's so funny? Excuse me. Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brecht? May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please? Well, yes, I don't see, why not? Yeah, this is... really? Oh, she's gonna drink from it to prove it's not poison. Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys. Sorry? To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is I always forget how to pronounce that word. Farcical comedy. Our little police games and these foolish courtroom antics is laughable, really. Farcical. That's right. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers. And this would be a bad time to have obtained an ulcer, which is an open wound in the stomach lining or esophagus. No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. Mouth ulcers too, yeah. Goodness. Whatever is the matter? You all look quite stunned. So, no curare. The bottle was clean, is that what you're saying? You look quite incredulous, little boy. But of course, that's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. What kind? Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brecht. I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries. Yes, dear lady. We are most gratified with all the assistance you have given. This doesn't make sense. There had to have been poison in that bottle. So how did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it. Well, I suppose if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London. There has to have been poison in that bottle, doesn't there? But there can't have been, because otherwise she would have keeled over dead. Come on, Ryunosuke. You have all the clues now. That bottle of water. Contains poison. The culprit did put curare poison into Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The defense refuses to change its position. You're serious?
Objection!
Fool! Are you blind? There's no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, you just saw Miss Brett drinking the water from it? That's right. Let's rather complicate your argument, I think. And I believe that complication can be explained. How exactly? She realizes I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer is in the evidence we have in the court record somewhere. It has to be. Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, and I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume this supposedly poisoned water unscathed? Okay, so it's... I don't know if I show the report card. I think I show the report card to show the open wound.
Yes!
Seems the defense, or should I say the wretched accused, is the only real source of complication in this case. Okay, so no, I just showed the evidence. Okay. Because it could have really been either. You're making this complication more complicated than it needs to be. I'm going to guess that the medical report is the second piece of evidence we show after we get the first line rolling. Oh, how she drank it, not how he did. Okay, okay. Fair, fair.
Yes!
The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report.
Objection!
That's not a valid explanation. No. After all, we don't speak English. That report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency. I'm not trying to ridicule anyone, honest. I'm just reading Susaru-san's notes. I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. You will direct us to the pertinent section, Counsel. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to this riddle? I gotta see which part it was in. It would be special characteristics? Yeah. We've been hearing a lot about this curare poison, and it's left me curious about something. Oh, Counsel? Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years. At least the heads of the arrows that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting. So we've been led to believe, yes. And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat. Get to the point, please. But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So, surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison. Good gracious, Counsel. No, that would be in madness. But I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? I see, that makes sense. Yes, the mention of that particular detail seems a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When curare enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever. What? Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew curare's special characteristics. And you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself. You meddling little... Oh god! Attack mode. God damn it. Oh, she's in freak-out mode. Well, Ryunosuke, turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Really? Me? A lawyer?
Objection!
Oh, all this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure. But I fail to see how it's possibly... God damn! Oh, the bird's angry. So, the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with. Some facts he read in a book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly. What are you trying to say? Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish? Flaw? As even your brain has managed to deduce, curare is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric succus. Oh, yes, well, of course. Gastric suckers? What are they? So, if this lethal poison is completely harmless for junk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? That's right. Good gracious. That's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand, no? The bird's gonna be popping off here soon. Order. Order in court! Order! The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way. Are you trying to suggest? Yes, the curare poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial. That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that. What is this welling up inside me? I've never felt this before. This sort of conviction. Do it! Say it! Say it, Ryunosuke! So intense, almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey. Objection.
Objection!
There we go! Hell yeah. I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett. How dare you use that tone with me? You know very well that there is no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you, you must provide compelling evidence, as we now know that this poison is completely harmless when ingested. Why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the curare? Medical report.
Take that!
As Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference? The toxic effects of curare are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So, for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poisoned water? Inside? Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Ah! Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. Ah! So that's it. You used that knowledge to orchestrate this. Ooh, are we getting the flip out? Are we getting the full flip out? Full flip out time. Is she? Yep, here we go. Laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are all so puerile. What do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy, you'll find out soon enough. What? You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. No! I mean, it could just slip. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed. I mean, no, it's still right there on the ground. I... What? Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect up as much of the water from that broken bottle as possible at once. You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you, it will soak up the water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. How could you? You won't get away with this. You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy. But I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there really was poison in the bottle or not. You. And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, Counselor for the prosecution? Oh, of course. You're referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady? That's right, and really, looking at this photograph, it's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So, of course, the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy.
Objection!
No, you killed the victim that day, using kurari. And then, in order to frame Ryunosuke Naruhodo for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you had arranged for him to find on the floor before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then, in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor in his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit this crime. What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence. Exactly. And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her, but now, you're really going to get away with it? If she destroyed that evidence as obscene. Ryunosuke. Yes? We've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it. What? What do you mean? We've lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true. But if there are any clues left for us to use now, it must be in your head. In my head? You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend on. Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. But think back again now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell. What I saw, what I felt. Every color? What? Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of the same scene in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? There's a clue. Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Looking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. You always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryunosuke? Come on, then, let's wipe the smug smile off that Englishwoman's face with some evidence. Alright, I can't wait. Niggling me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Whatever it could be, that it could be the key to arriving at the truth about all of this. It's here somewhere. The clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been is...
Take that!
Inspector Hosotanka, answer me this. Yes? What is it? He's still miles away. Probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. I guess it'd be soaked into the board, actually. Red blood? But blood's pink. As you said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day?
Objection!
Wait a minute. Where are you going with... Where are you going with this, little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in this photograph print with my own eyes that day. And I saw on that wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on was a spattering of blood. What? Oh, really? And what of it? Obviously, that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way that blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him. Ah! Yes. The blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor as you were. Giselle Brett. I beg your pardon?
Objection!
This is beyond ridiculous. Fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expected to believe something the accused has apparently just remembered seeing?
Hold it!
Here we go. This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean? Yes, I took the plate, in the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all, and I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it. You did what? I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice. I love that pose! I'm saying justice. It's fantastic. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a bloodstain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it now. Good lord, for a first case, this is already just insane. Inspector. The court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir. Sorry for the delay. Here is what you ordered, the steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it? Of course there isn't. Quickly, Inspector, the blood man, show the court. Of course, examine the plate at your leisure. No blood. Yeah, there's something wrong here, though. I don't think that's the same plate. I know it. I'm sure of it. Wait a second. Court record. Same one? No, it's a different plate. Maybe? I'm not sure. What an unbecoming expression, little boy. Oh god. Bird deployed. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you. Oh wow. Damn, lady. Keep getting a little racist in there. I couldn't agree more. the case of this disgrace to the Empire. I believe we may finally have reached a conclusion in this trial. Let's hope so. Let's pretend attempt at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. But I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over. This sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clear. This sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clearly. If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest. The thing was flipped over, wasn't it? Bird deployed sounds like a military tactic. Borderlands had a good bird attacker. Yeah. This is it now. I've lost. Ryunosuke, it's not over yet. Not until the final gap. So... deploy the birds. Over. I forgot about that thing. Huh? What in the world is this? I think it's a Koban coin. And the hallmark from the hotel, and the hallmark is from the Hoei era, I believe. No, I don't mean what is it. I mean, what's it doing there? Wait, did you say it was a Hoei Koban? Yes, and apart from the meat juices, it looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable. This isn't the first time today that there's been talk of a Hoei Koban. I've heard of pearls before Swan, but never heard of bullion and bullion. And I don't think you'll ever will again. This is extraordinary, though. This means... I certainly never expected to find a precious coin underneath this thick cut of meat. And it's from the Hoei era, too. That would make it really quite valuable. Well marinated in the juices as well, look. What? Are you thinking of eating it? No, but next time I order a steak in an expensive restaurant, one thing's for sure. My heart's going to be racing as I lift up the meat and peer underneath for a prize. I think you might have the wrong end of the stick about this, Ryunosuke. A Koban coin underneath the steak. There's only one logical explanation. Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward, no matter what. Believe in myself? Really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself. As the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way, I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objection? This thing is going to clinch the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all? There's another clue. There we go, slam. Your Excellency, please, wait. This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that will reveal the shocking truth. The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beef steak. Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial. I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled. I see, as a newly affirmed ally of my country, that it's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency. Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court to what you are alluding. Where precisely on this plate of beef is this new clue to be found?
Got it!
No, Counsel, I'm afraid that won't do. That was ambiguous at best. Ah. Oh. Hey, Hey, Val. Oh God, no, that's happening again. How you doing, Val? When you're asked to identify a detail like this, you must do so knowing there is a penalty for mistakes. Ah, now I got a box on my head again. The answer's right here in front of me. I'm sure of it, so there's only one thing to do. Turn this stick over and over until I find something to help me out of this mess. Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court what you are... Wait. Do I need to go, like this? Like, how do I... Oh. Maybe it wants me to do... Like... There we go. Maybe I thought I was putting it over here instead of over here. Huh? Or I just had to do it again. Oh, I had to interact. Okay. I was just clicking around and then it suddenly did it, so I thought I presented it again. Okay. The plate says, huh? Yeah, because it doesn't. It's missing the space for interact here, button prompt. So that's not clear. I wonder if that's gotten people, that's screwed people over before. Huh? What in the world is this? I think it's a Koban coin, and the hallmark is from the Hoei era. No, I don't mean what. Oh, we're doing this again. What's it doing there? Oh, we're going through this again. That way I reveal it so that I can present it. Can't believe she showed the dude in mouth steak. Oh, man. Oh, that's great. Meaning I can go like this. Now I can present. Got it. Good gracious. That's... A Koban? What on earth? A Hoei era one at that. Miss Bright. This is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant on the day in question, is it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat?
Shut up!
What was that? Jesus Christ, the Bible! What a ridiculous question. How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what this is, but I want no part.
Objection!
I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin underneath the meat? That could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of distress.
Objection!
Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe this has happened by accident in the kitchen. A rare Hoei Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now. He's right. It can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency. Yes, Counsel? A rare Hoei Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. This turns out to be irrelevant to the case. I'll give up my lawyer job right now.
Objection!
You're not... You're... By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyway.
Shut up!
We're just yelling at each other now. Oh, this is fantastic. Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who are irrelevant. Even though I'm the one on trial here. The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what's doing under that steak. The owner? Yes, it's obvious there's only one person that can belong to. The owner of the Koban that was found underneath the beefsteak is... Let's see, it's supposed to be him. Nope, pie on my head.
Take that!
Obviously, can only be the antiques dealer and owner of Ryunosuke, Kiryu Kurakuta-san. As in Mr. Cucumber or something? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable. Boop, boop. Thanks for the boop. Ah. And now we can throw things at me. Ah, yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct? Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying that he was up to something with his Koban coin when it happened, at exactly the moment the gun was fired. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for the treasure. Indeed, the Hoei-era Koban, my prized coin. Then his Hoei-era Koban? Do you mean to tell me? Now, please, why would Kurakuta-san Koban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and its plate? It makes no sense.
Yes!
Which is why I'm asking to bring Kurakuta-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here, without a moment's delay. Like I said, for a first case, this is insane. Can't believe we would come back around to that pair again. But I have a hunch, a strong hunch, that if we chase down the real significance of this Koban, we'll find that it's a key element in this case. Oop, here we go again. God, this witness stand is just full now. Good lord. What is this all about? Why have I been called up again? Don't you realize that it's dinner time for little baby Ido? When my son's belly is empty, he's fiercer than a pack of wolves. Exploited by the police, we were, like miserable dogs, forced to bear false witness. When cast from this courtroom myself, I became a ruined man in a trice, a worthless, withered antique. I've got a knife on the witness stand here. Why? Nothing more I have to say. The sun is set on this Ryunosuke shop owner's existence. Be that as it may, Kurakatsu-san, something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Ryunosuke memory serves, do you ever... Ah! Yes, that's it. That very exact one that is. He's gonna seppuku in the middle of court. Yeah, that's why I was worried. The resplendent splendoriferous toy treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace that fateful day. It can't be. As I thought. Young man. Enlighten this decrepit old fool. Put me out of my misery. Where? Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped? Oh, I'm not sure it was dropped anywhere. We found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and its plate, soaking in the seasoned meat's juices. It's a sandwiched? Something? Seriously? Clearly it couldn't have fallen there by accident. Which means somebody must have hidden it there on purpose. Somebody concealed my Hoei treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate? Who would do such a thing? Such an unconscionable thing. Excuse me. Did I say something? Yes, of course. I would do such a thing. Proceed, Inspector Hosonaga. I mentioned this earlier on the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case. Ah, yes, that's right. The secret undercover operation. La Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau. Wicked crimes indeed. We wanted to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected. So that's why you were sent in undercover, is it? Yes. I took on the job of waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. It seems likely that this Koban incident is the work of the same thief. So unbeknownst to us, there was a master thief at work in the restaurant on a regular basis. The place was already at the scene of several crimes, it seems. I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid Kurokochi-san Koban is all too clear. What? What? I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on this matter. Tell us, who is the despicable scoundrel that stole Kurokuta-san's Koban and hid it under the stake? I believe it was Ayesa. Ayesa. It was Nosa.
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be you. Sergeant Ayesa Nosa. What? How? How dare you? You monster! Monster? I stole that Koban, did I? I'm the master thief of La Carnival, am I? You're seriously accusing me of these crimes, cadet? But it wasn't me. It was Aido. Aido was the mastermind behind all this. Pardon? You're throwing the kid under the bus? What the fuck? You would push the blame for your crimes onto your own son, an innocent little baby? It's you who's the monster, Sergeant Nosa. This breakdown. Oh my god, this is a. What the? Oh my god, this breakdown! Oh! He's dead. Back broken. What? Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Ayesa Nosa preparing to stand down in the Supreme Court, sir. Do any of you know of the extraordinarily low wages the Nippon Imperial Army pays those it expects to keep our country safe? I understand that the temporary increase in taxation owing to the recently ended conflicts remains in place, and I have heard it's hard for lower-ranking soldiers to make a living, yes. All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son. That's why you were stealing things at the restaurant? The place is heaving with money. Every 3 days I'd go there and do reconnaissance for a target. And I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak at the same time. That sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork, even. Which is worryingly believable. And your target that day was the old man and his Koban? Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble at all. A veritable phantom thief you are. I was set to leave the steak. I was all set to leave the steak I was halfway through devouring when it happened. Yes, when the professor was shot. I knew if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. I'd know too. So, I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could. On the double. I slipped it under the sink, hoping that I'd be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date. Lots of ellipses here. We need Lady Love dice here, right? This is ridiculous. Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling in your own time? Well, Miss Brett. Oh, of course, dear lady, of course. How rude of us. I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. May the esteemed gentlewoman please be excused, Your Excellency? Indeed. The theft of the Koban was clearly perpetrated by this baby-saddled sergeant, who would certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder. Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. Nonsense, is it? And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Very well. Now that all questions concerning this witness's testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her. Miss Brett, you are free to leave. Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. And good day. Objection! No. Shout it. Oh, there's that dawning. Oh my god. Ryunosuke, what's the matter with you? There's no time for daydreaming. Oh, no. Just something about Miss Brett's parting words there got me thinking. Can't quite work out what exactly, but something she said jarred with me. I feel like there was a contradiction in there somewhere. Something didn't quite add up. If that's the case, don't stand there thinking, make your voice heard. Sorry? You can think later, but if you don't call out now, it'll be too late. Trial will be over. Come on.
Hold it!
Wait, Miss Brett. What is it now? I'm afraid, just one last time, there's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago. What are you talking about? What contradiction?
Objection!
What new student nonsense is this? Well, what parting words are you talking about, Ryunosuke? Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork... Oh! I missed that. Beyond nonsense, it's pure madness. Yes, I'm right. What she said there exposed an undeniable contradiction. I'm going to need to see evidence, counsel. If Miss Brett's words truly are contradictory, where is the evidence to prove it? Right there.
Take that!
The photographic print of the scene taken immediately after the incident occurred. What's interesting is the plate of steak that you can see on the victim's table. The steak that Miss Brett had been eating before the professor was killed, yes? Go on. More accurately, Your Excellency, the steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed. Now you're just splitting hairs. Not true. Doesn't something about this steak strike you as very unnatural? Unnatural? What on earth do you mean? It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been eaten. I see you've noticed it too, Miss Brett. Noticed what exactly, counsel? Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman could even contemplate picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork. Of course she did. She's a refined English gentlewoman herself. Then take a good look at this steak. In particular, the edge where it's been eaten. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks here. Ah! Oh. Ah. Looks like Miss Brett had realized something. So, if the witness, as she claims, wouldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and fork, There shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all.
Objection!
But what is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was ravenously hungry and could not... Oh, whatever you say, dear lady. As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer. Of course, of course. This will all be over in the blink of an eye. Rest assured, I'm about to put this rookie in his place. Just leave everything... Oh god, the bird's been deployed again! I've heard enough. You irritating little spectacled samurai relic. Of course, dear lady. What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers? Clearly, the witness knows what this means. She's realized the catastrophic implications these teeth marks in the steak have for her. Ryunosuke, do you know where you're going with this? Yes, now at least it's all come together. Mysterious teeth marks in a steak that had allegedly been eaten with cutlery. The reason why the bloodstain I know I saw somehow seems to have disappeared. And most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day. I accept that these teeth marks in the steak are a little unnatural, as you put it, counsel. But what exactly are you suggesting that tells us? Everything, Your Excellency. Everything? Yes, I believe that these barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that will prove beyond any doubt who shot Dr. Wilson. Conclusive evidence? How many times have I heard that today? You wouldn't know the meaning of the phrase, you typical Japanese empty threats. How can you be so sure? Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago. Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet. Hasn't been what? But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist.
Objection!
It's absurd. This trial has run several hours already. And you say there's evidence yet to be brought forward? There can't be. I don't believe you have it.
Objection!
I don't, but there is someone who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom. And if that person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to, it will solve every remaining mystery about this case. Very well. I have a feeling that this will be my last request of the defense of in this trial. Who possesses the conclusive evidence that will reveal the truth about this whole affair?
Take that!
The answer is obvious. It's Inspector Hosonaga. What? I have it? Yes. You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's ridiculous. No, I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on this steak with teeth marks. Yes. Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Noso told the court the following. I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak. And as well as admitting to stealing Kurokuta-san's coin, he told us that he slipped it under the steak. You watch it, cadet. I'm a superior officer. Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was the steak that you put the coin under, in fact, your own steak? Tension! Affirmative, of course. I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still, I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentlelady if she'd mind me manhandling her meal to hide something in it. In other words, the steak that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal.
Objection!
But that makes no sense. That plate was taken from the victim's table.
Objection!
Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor did she have any opportunity to steal the coin. Of course I didn't steal it. To even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire. Well then, how do you explain this paradox? Exactly. Surely you're not going to suggest that the sergeant switched the two stakes over? Oh. You did switch the plates? Well, after it happened, when I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my stick and hid the coin underneath it. But then when the waiter announced he was an undercover policeman, I thought I'd had it. If he decided to investigate my slab of meat, that'd be it. I'd be getting my marching orders. But when the cadet here was arrested and taken off to the kitchen, I seized my chance. With military precision and timing, I switched my stick with the one on the foreign lady's table. What? You can't have. I never saw you do such a thing. It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you. So yes. I had to do it. Unbelievable. I thought she swapped it over. However, fear not, Prosecutor-san. What now? I swear on the breast buttons of my uniform. That's all I did, sir. All you did? That's plenty, Sergeant.
Yes!
So, if Sergeant Nosa switched the plates over, it means he took Miss Brett's steak and the plate it was on back to his own table. Yes, that follows. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Earlier in this trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak after the incident, but also the sergeant's. That, to preserve evidence, you had taken both. Ah. Uh-oh. She's in near freakout mode. That's correct. Then please present it to the court now. The plate that was actually on the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot.
Shut up!
What can that possibly tell us now? I mean, a cold slab of tough meat? You can't have the slightest bearing on the case.
Objection!
No, you're not wriggling out of this one. Way out of it this time, lady. Oh, yeah, she's near freakout. I beg your pardon? Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why this steak pan promises to prove such a problem for you, no? You're the ones who decided it was a problem, not me. The reason the defense asked to see the plate was confirm something the defendant remembers seeing. Thinks he remembers. I'm quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brett. On the side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear splattering of blood from the gunshot wound to the victim's chest. I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. And now we have the evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brett. Let us not prolong this any further. Inspector, you will show the evidence to the court. Present the beef steak and plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident. I love that pose now. It's fantastic. Sorry for keeping you. And there it is. Here is the other steak in its plate. Please, feel free to examine it. A blood stain. It's clearly visible.
Yes!
Look. Now this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate shows that at the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to me. It's ketchup because the real monster is Dr. Wilson. In other words, it's impossible for Naruhodo-san to have shot the victim. It can't be. In fact, there's only one person who could possibly have shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. Here it comes. That's right, Miss Giselle Brett. It's you. Outdone by a Japanese? Me? By a Japanese schoolboy? No, no, no! Oh god, the bird's freaking out! Oh god. What? Oh god! What the? What? Well. It was pop. Oh. Um. Escape Swan. Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. Forgive me. Well, Miss Brett, I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth, this time. Gladly, Your Gladly, Your Excellency. It was I who took the professor's life using curare. As you surmised, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning. So you planned to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison would be found in his water. Because curare is unheard of here in Japan. Yay, thanks for the boot. And for the stuff being thrown at me. Yes. Of course, I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water, and it would all be over. I would place the steak I had ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he had been dining alone. And leave immediately. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table. That would be me, I suppose. Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter, but the fact you decided to come over to greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in his chair such that he wouldn't fall. There's no going back at that point, so I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment. A plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man. I happen to know that the professor always carried a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of curare in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt. Under your skirt? So I was right, there were two guns. Yes. And then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. Placed where you were sure that I would notice it. And everything went according to plan. You noticed the gun as I had intended. And then, just as you bent down to pick it up, bang. Hey, it's gonna be an awesome day. That's when you shot the professor with your own gun. Even though at that point he was already dead. Naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared. Obviously, I assumed Naruhodo-san was the culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside. That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor in his chair around. Because, of course, you needed to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he picked the gun up. Dot, 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 dot. So there you have it. That is the entirety of my misdemeanor. Brett has the fastest draw. If you can take out a gun, aim it, shoot it, and conceal it again, right? Oh, maybe it's like maybe it's actually that belt gun from Dusk Till Dawn. It's just a belt that holds out into a revolver, then folds back in. That's the actual gun. Your Excellency. Yes. I wonder. Might I speak with you in private later? I shall call on you. Thank you. Good day then, everyone. I hope you can forgive me. Naruhodo-san. It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement? This can't be. Takatsushi Akuuchi does not lose. Not for the likes of this rookie student. The court still finds you guilty. You better start getting used to tough opposition. Ah, Ryunosuke and Naruhodo. What? Yes? Its insult to the Auchi family name will never be forgotten. You've become conceited with age, Counsel, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. What? Really? It's attacked. Second case will be on Monday for sure. I'm actually over time right now, but I need to finish this up first. 1,000 millennia may pass, and still the Auchi clan will never measure up to the Naruhodo clan. Oh, that Ryo jumped out of the way first, right? This trial in the Supreme Court of Japan will, I believe, go down in history as the start of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as the accused, you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, presented an excellent case. I thank you, Your Excellency. Use of evidence and deduction to unravel the truth is a modern methodology. After all, it has only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to the wider world. But the Western ideas of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. A new future of law awaits. But what it will look like, I cannot begin to imagine. That is for the young to pursue. Kazuma Asogi. Yes? After this trial, you are set to embark on a journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can. Absorb everything of the wider world that you are able to. And do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you. I understand, Your Excellency. What was that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden? Ah, never mind. Assassinate right. Yeah, definitely related to Delilah Hawthorne. For you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Oh, yes? In you, I sense, how can I put it, unusual potential. I very much look forward to seeing how you carry that onwards. Thank you, Your Excellency. Yep. That was a good timing. Hey, Goob. It's time to deliver the final verdict. I hereby find the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, not guilty. Yay! Goob, how long until Phasmo? Please don't tell me it's right now. The court is now adjourned. Okay, 30 minutes. Okay, I just have just enough time to cook dinner for this ridiculous household. 22nd of November, blah, blah, blah. We can set up OBS Ninja again, too. Yeah, we'll be able to do that. But oh yeah, OBS Ninja's not going to be able to do the Tifa, isn't it? I'll probably won't stream Phasmo. I'll probably just go off of your two streams if you're streaming as well. Yeah, I'll just be going through your stream then. I'll be sure to set up as host when you start. I can't believe it. I can't believe what's happened. I made it. I defended myself and made it through that horrendous trial. Ryunosuke, you finally pulled it off. Congratulations. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Kazuma. No, it was a pleasure to watch you at work. So, you owe me an extra large sukiyaki from the place on Yume University Street. Don't forget. Good afternoon. All your hard work has certainly paid off. Oh no, it's her. Congratulations to both of you for providing Naruhodo-san's innocence. Ah, our trusty judicial assistant. You worked hard for that result too, you know? Oh no, I didn't do any... Thank you so much. If we hadn't had that research report of Miss Brett's, I don't know how things would have turned out. Your kind words should really be for my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate. Your father? Ah, yes, of course. That man's had a personal breeze for that bandana, right? Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotova, Judicial Assistant to the Defense. Speaking of Mikotova, there you are. I believe congratulations are in order. Naruhodo, you did an excellent job. Thank you, Professor. Oh no, it is I who should be thanking you. After all, your efforts exposed the true criminal that took the life of my good friend. Good friend? Oh yes, you mentioned that before. It was you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yume University, wasn't it? Yes, that's right. Professor Mikotowa studies overseas himself. He went to study forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably, that's when you met Dr. Wilson? Exactly. In those days, we worked together in the same hospital. Oh, you worked together? I've never heard you mention that before. Well, it was a long time ago. Now, besides... It's your turn, Asogi. Great Britain is a magnificent country. It leads the world. In science, medicine, engineering, culture, and of course, in law. Watch and learn, my boy. See what's happening in the world's largest melting pot. I will. I'll learn all that I can. In those days, we really did believe to be the one and only truth of this world. I swear on this, the spirit of the Asogi clan. You're not taking that sword to Great Britain, are you? Of course I am. A Japanese man's katana is its soul. This blade shows where I need to go. And cuts down anything that's in my way. Yes, I've definitely seen how sharp it is already with my own eyes. Now that reminds me, what's happened to the woman? To Giselle Brett, I mean. After all, she's guilty of murder. Ah, yes, her. It's not easy to tell you this, but... What do you mean? Surely she's going to face trial herself now. She's the true culprit, after all. He will be leaving Japan in the very near future. For Shanghai. What? Shanghai? Giselle Brett will not appear in court again in this country. I'm certain of that. What? But why not? It's a matter of consular jurisdiction. Ah, Inspector Hosonaga. It was a hard-fought battle in the courtroom today. Very impressive to watch, I must congratulate. But what's this all about consular jurisdiction? We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan. What? We can't try her? But then who? Who's going to bring her to justice? A British consular court will hear her case, somewhere far away where our voices can't be heard. Why a consular court? Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing in the past now that we've signed the Friendship Treaty. Yes, in normal circumstances you're right. Then, so long as this is not a serious incident of a highly political nature to our respective governments, they can't invoke a consular court just like that. Oh, can't they? Yes, she's a student, but it doesn't justify our governments making secret agreements about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on. So Miss Brett can't be held accountable for her actions here in Japan. I'm afraid that for the young student. Today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. There was never any danger of comeuppance for her. I don't believe it. The British government's Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Brett. They're obviously taking this case of a foreign student committing murder very seriously. But it's all going to change from now on. We can make it change. This is a time of great turmoil, this new era heralded by the start of the 20th century. One day, I have no doubt, that woman will receive the judgment she deserves. Yes, change is coming, and we're the ones driving it. Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink. I think with that, I'm going to save and stop, because I'm running out of time if I want to make dinner before, Phasmo starts. Alright. We'll leave this music going in the background. Pop this on. Yeah, I know, I'm already out of time. I'm way over time. Anyways, thank you everybody for tuning in and hanging out while we continued our great courtroom case and finished up the first case in the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Let me see who is around I can send y'all over to. Let me see. I will be streaming again Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and probably not next Thursday. We're probably not going to be doing next Thursday. We'll see, though. Starting 2 p.m. Central, I'll be doing more Great Ace Attorney. I will probably also start doing some Starbase on stream, because I'm having a whole ton of fun with that game. Those streams will be a lot more chill, because it is a slower space-based crafting game. So, that will be chill time with music. Might start something else as well, but yeah, look forward to that. Who is around? I see. Oh, hey, Clev's on. Yeah, I'll send y'all over to Clev, who is just chatting right now.
Going back to prison to avoid SpongeBob isn't even an
Okay, so yeah, I'll send you over. It's like he's watching random videos and talking with chat. So, good times, any. Action events for Starbase. I don't think they've put it any. There's not really. I don't think enough actions have popped up from players for much PvP. There's like little skirmishes outside the safe zones and stuff, but it's mostly people getting up to speed, getting crafting and their research done, so that they can start building the bigger ships. So, yeah. But it's a game that's perfectly in my speed. So, or my wheelhouse, I should say. I'm pretty sure, put about 12 hours into it. Just, I'm having a lot of fun with it. Anyways, let me get this raid started up and going. Anyways, thank you again, everybody, for tuning in and hanging out. I hope you all have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. I'm sending you all over to Cleb Xander, who is another awesome furry streamer. He's a really nice guy. You can also go throw stuff at him. Please do. Please throw stuff at him too. He's the original one that I first saw with this throw thingy, and then you helped me figure out where the heck, what the heck program it was. So now we all have stuff that we can get thrown at. Anyways, send hearts and squeaks to him, please. And I will see you all when I see you. Bye now. Bye. Take care.